Welcome back to another session creating our awesome Waypoints tool. In this session, as promised, we're gonna add a functionality that enables us to say add a waypoint in between two waypoints. So in order to do so, we're gonna open up our waypoint script in MonoDevelop. And here we're going to create a new function just right after create waypoint, the create waypoint function. I'm going to call this public void create waypoint after and it takes a game object, and let's see, I'm still thinking how to do that because I think I want to write a whole new function and later on we combine it. So let's write another one, private void create waypoint. After, sorry, I'm messing around here. So int index, that should do. So, and here we're doing nothing else but calling this function, and we get our index from our list. Okay, the last thing missing so we can start it is a button. So I'm gonna copy and paste our delete button in our waypoint child editor script and gonna rename it at waypoint after. So now as we click our new button, it will call the function, the public function we just wrote, and this one will fetch the index of the waypoint that we had selected and pass it on to our create waypoint function. Just to check that everything's going well so far, let's have a look, and there's our button. Nothing happens yet, but that's all right. Let's change that. So the beginning is fairly similar. We're gonna create a new object. We're gonna parent it under the holder of this script. And I'm also gonna take this whole part. Let's just take this whole if-else statement and copy and paste it. So what that does, if we don't have any waypoint yet, which is highly unlikely, this is basically just a safety statement since we always create at least one waypoint. But in case we don't have any, we will create one at 0. And now I want to change this to an else if statement. Only if the index equals waypoints count -1. So only if we selected right now, we click the button on the very last waypoint in our list, then I want to add one at the end, what we've done so far all the time. And now we're ready to add one in between. So let's just comment that so it's obvious. No waypoint yet. And here we have last waypoint at the end. And here we're gonna insert waypoint at index. Okay, for that we need a few vectors. We need the first position would be our selected waypoint dot transform dot position, and so we need a second position which is the following waypoint, so index +1, and we can do this without worrying that there might not be any, because we already said if it's the last one then we will jump in here, and if it's not the last one then there will always be another one following the one we've selected, if that makes any sense. And with those two vectors we can now calculate an offset. So if you recall, this is actually fairly similar to what we've done up here when we set our connectors. And this time the only difference is that I'm gonna multiply it by 0.5. So this will give us right the middle in between those two vectors, or the offset like half of this distance at least. So now in order to get to the middle position, we just need to take the first position and add our offset. So, but before I get all crazy trying out if everything works, let me just copy and paste the rest of our create function. And yeah, let me see. I'm just gonna get this one out for now. And the thing is, we're meddling here with our order of waypoints, so I'm just gonna right away take our clean waypoints function in here at the end, because we will need it. So now let's have a look what we've got so far. I just pull out number 4, it's the one selected now, and I press add waypoint after, and okay, we obviously didn't set something correct. Let's have a look, and here it is. That happens with copy and pasting. Some may say it's evil. I like it because it usually helps a lot, but let's not debate that here. Insert takes 2 parameters, which is the index. So index +1, since we want to add it in after the one that's selected, and our object. Now let's try it again. Number 4, where are you? Okay, and now we have one right in the middle between 4 and 6. It's called 5 here. However, here we got a problem that the naming is actually right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, like that is all in sync. The only thing we do not have now is our waypoints in order. So let's fix that. Yeah, I guess the best way to do this is add this in our clean function. It won't hurt in other calls, but here it will help us. So what I'm doing now is just setting, like in our clean waypoints function, we're iterating through all the waypoints, and I'm now just adjusting their index, because this one is at the right index in the list. It's just not displayed here at the right index. So if I now we also implemented that function on our delete call, so I just delete one. And now you see all our waypoints are in order. Let's check if everything's all right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Everything works. So if I now double check and add another waypoint in between, we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. So that gives us a whole another level of flexibility using our tool. Yeah, now we can have a look if we can just actually use this function instead of a public, our create waypoint function. So what I'm gonna do is just comment it out and have a look what happens. Should get some errors here. I double click the arrow to get to the right point. So here is our first. Okay, let's call create waypoints after 0. Because at this point we should not have any. This is just what we figured out here. We don't have any waypoints in our list. Let's create one. So this would be 0. Save again. And we have another arrow. I double click the arrow again in our editor script. And it's a bit more tricky here, because so far we've always added one at the end. Let's just, yeah, I'm just gonna write another public for that, just to keep it readable. Create waypoint at end. And this one is calling the same function again. And this time we pass in, well, count -1. So this is the last index we have. Okay. So this was it. Create. And this would be the same call. So in both editor scripts we have to adjust that one. And I think with that we should be done. No, there's still another arrow. Does not contain create waypoint. Maybe I didn't save it. Yeah, I didn't save it. Sorry about that. So let's just check if everything works. I just pull in the prefab and we get a whole lot of out of range exceptions. Okay. I'll look into that. This could be because we're calling this 0 here. How about I just call create waypoint at end instead. clear console, look at the waypoint, and just to show the fact that it's actually working, I pull in another instance of the prefab, and right away we have our first waypoint. We can add waypoints. Okay, so what we've lost in the midst of it is the selection. Let's add this one. I just get this one from here. Sorry, I first thought we would not need that on this point, but yeah, that works. So just want to have a look what happens if we add one after. It's right away selected. That's pretty neat. Which one would be selected if we pull in? Okay, so this is something I do not want. If we start with a fresh waypoints object, I do not want to have the child selected, because if I start moving this one around, then our waypoints object is somewhere in space, and I always want this to be attached to our first waypoint. So what we're gonna do here is if index, or do we always have an index? Yes, we do. So if index equals 0, selection not selection, selection else. So if it's the case that we actually have selected nothing, then I wanted to select the holder of the script, and that's not what it's doing. Okay. So we can do some debug here. And pull in this one, and we get a -1. That's funny. Okay, I don't know why it's a -1, but I won't bother with it right now. So don't do that at home. No, it's just I don't want to do a long debug search right now. Okay, so this is actually working now. Show it again. I pull it in. I got my parent object selected, and now we can actually do a whole lot with our tool already. It's all working the way we would like it to. So I'm quite happy with our tool so far. We can customize, I haven't done any of this lately, but we can customize a whole lot. Yeah, so this is it for this session. In the next session, and for now I guess it will be the last session of our Waypoints tool, I'm just gonna add some more functionality. I just want to make it more tool-like. So we're gonna add a menu item at the top, and I'm just gonna embed our Waypoints tool in a tools package, where we can later on add other tools. More about that next time. So thank you for watching, and see you then. Bye.